It's loading. And I think we are live now. I'm pretty sure we are. Yes, we are live. We are live. Yep. We are go. Let's go. Let's start this live stream.
Okay.
Let's kick things off and see how it goes. Today we are with
What do you want to ask me?
Today we are with my special guest SSW from Slingshot Warriors Outdoors, and this is probably one of the first live streams which hopefully shouldn't be any interruptions or shouldn't have any issues. Today we're just going to go with the flow and see how things go. Isn't that right?
Yes. What would you like to ask me?
Um, why don't you just introduce yourself a bit to my channel? Tell you what you do and yeah, go from
Oh,
there.
okay. Well, I'm at SSW. I did an outdoor. I did an outdoors channel. I'm on the spectrum, just like Edward is. Um, I have been speaking out for the rights of people that were on of children on the spectrum. I mean, because I don't believe that they get a fair shake in a lot of times. In when they're young. But I believe that we can succeed regardless. Tireless advocate for basically children on the spectrum to have separate schools. You know what I mean? I think that really does boost self-esteem when you have not like a special school for a separate school that because I found that children on the spectrum are more targets for harassment and bullying by regular people. I mean, you know,
Yes, I totally get
you
where
know.
you're coming from. People who are on the spectrum too do get misjudged a lot and they get treated unfairly quite a fair bit. And it is unfair. And especially in the UK, I think people who are like around the UK, like they don't understand autism. And American citizens understand it better. Hence why I've kind of found you as a person type thing. Do you know where I'm coming from?
Yeah, thank you. I've been an advocate for separate schools for children on the spectrum because we're not safe around regular. I mean, children on the spectrum are not exactly safe or targets for violence. I mean,
Yeah. Hi, hi, Lewis. Glad you can come
how
to
you doing,
this live
Lewis?
stream.
But that's a
We,
moot point. I mean, I pray for all the children on the spectrum who are having a hard time on it. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Although my hard time, I've turned it into something positive. You know what I mean?
yeah. I just find it quite unfair for UK people. Like, that's why I want to kind of move to America because American citizens understand what autism is. And, like, no offense to the UK, it's a lovely country and a lot of people should understand autism. But it's unfortunate that the UK citizens don't understand it at all. Like, what I've noticed whilst being on the spectrum, whilst living in the UK, people just don't understand you. They blame, like, they think you're some sort of strange, odd person, but in reality,
Yeah, I know what you're feeling because I think differently. I'm very intelligent, but I don't behave in the same way. So people have called me retarded
yes.
um, because I'm socially inept. I can't pick up on social cues. But
But
they don't
when I went,
understand that people on the spectrum are very intelligent. It's just not in the same way that a regular person or a reg would be. I mean,
yeah, but like when I went to the States a couple of months ago, I felt at home because of how nicely I was treated. I wasn't treated unfairly or anything like that. I could just be a normal person and everyone treated you the same. But yet in the UK, if I was a normal person, I would probably like if I was myself in the UK, I get treated completely different to how I would treat in America, if you get what I mean.
Yes, the world treats. I'm not. Sometimes being different is a good thing. Sometimes being different is a bad thing. I mean, you think differently and you have a unique perspective. I mean, that's what I've learned with my live streams is that people want to hear my perspective because it's not because I'm on the outside looking in. And sometimes being on the outside looking gives you a very unique perspective that others do not have. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah. And like recently with my live streams, I've just figured out just be myself and not like act different or anything and not fake content. Because I tried faking content and it worked for 10 seconds, but immediately after the weather changed and everything, I was like, well, there's no point in faking content. I may as well just be who I am.
Yeah. I remember when I was a kid, I tried to hide the fact that I was on the spectrum, or I didn't know I was on the spectrum at the time. But I tried to basically fit in. I tried to basically act like I was like everyone else, but I couldn't fit in. They knew you can't hide that. To a certain extent, people don't notice that I'm on the spectrum, but over time,
Yeah,
people do notice. You know what I mean? There's
yeah.
something off. You know what I mean?
Mm, I totally get where you're coming from.
Now, there's different levels of the spectrum. Um, there's more extreme levels than us. We're both mildly on the spectrum, which is very
Yes,
number one, I think. But there are people who just can't communicate on the spectrum.
yeah. I think me and you as people are quite lucky to be who
Yeah.
we are. Hi, Dancy UK.
Yeah.
Welcome to the live stream. At the moment, we're just talking about autism. So, yeah, just seeing how this goes, really.
There are a lot of great people here in America, but children can be cruel to children who are different. Okay? And I've noticed that.
Yeah,
Example,
and
I've
it's not,
seen.
and it's not just children.
Hello.
Like, it's not just children. It's like it's adults as well. Adults are also mean to people who are on the
Oh,
spectrum.
definitely. And here's the thing: in America, we have like on the spectrum, like like miss here in America, we have people advocating. I think some of the things they do, I think some of the things they do in American schools doesn't help a child who's on the facility. Doesn't. I think it hurts him more because you're trying to. Okay, I'm a pragmatist by nature. Pragmatist. I mean, and practically speaking, putting putting a child that's on the spectrum classroom full of regs is like blood in the water. You know what I mean? I think it's up in Arizona. It's a school specifically for children on the spectrum. You know, and I think that's the model. That's I think I would have done so much better if I was diagnosed with being on the spectrum, and if I had my own school where I was accepted. You know, where it
Yeah,
wasn't like you're the outsider, you know what I mean? Think about it
yeah.
like
I
this. If you
totally get
had
where
your
you're
own
coming from.
I think you would be the most popular kid in school. For example, I think me and you would probably be the most popular kid in, like, let's say, hypothetically, there's a high school for kids on the spectrum, you know?
Yeah,
More than likely, the most popular kids in school. You know what I mean? How you doing, Nancy?
How you doing, Nancy?
But you put us in the class full of regular kids, right? We're
Yeah,
not the outcasts. You know what I mean? But if we're in a place where, I've noticed that I was in a place where people were softer than me. You know what I mean? They
yeah,
actually looked up to me. You know what I mean? More so.
yeah.
So I think what needs to be done is that spectrum kids would have a higher self-esteem. You know what I mean? If you just don't put them in a place where you're setting them up to be attacked. You know what I mean?
And it's like I'm not sure about whether it's a similar thing in the US, but in the UK, I find when I was growing up, I was always told that you're different, Edward. You're different. You shouldn't be here. You should be punished, and so on. But I feel like the US people are more like they understand autistic people and they understand
It
people who are
depends
different.
on what part of the country you're in. I can assure you, I got no niceties when I was growing up in the '90s. No, I wasn't treated very well. You know what I mean,
Yeah,
not in my neighborhood and not in my school. You know what I mean?
yeah.
You know what needs to be done, I think, is separate schools. You know what I mean?
But
I
like
think that
I think better understanding of autism would help a lot of people. Like obviously my channel is based around autism and stuff like that.
yeah.
And my channel is kind of designated to get people's attention and to say, look, autism is not different. Autism is just something, it's just a name. I'm just like you or anyone who's watching this live stream. I'm just like anyone else. Autism is just something which is just a name. It's just autism. It doesn't necessarily hold you back from anything.
It doesn't hold me back. It doesn't hold you back. For example, Elon Musk is a good example of someone on the spectrum who's made it big. There's a lot of other great examples. I would say what needs to be done for basically, I think that we don't. I think that what needs to be done is like I said before. I think that there needs to be greater understanding, but understanding is not enough because
Yeah,
there are ignorant people out there, okay? In your country and mine, ignorant people who are ignorant to people that don't like certain types of people. You know what I mean?
I just
And trying to get their acceptance is kind of asinine. It's a futile effort. You know what I mean? You know,
I just find like the US understand autism better than the UK. Maybe that's just me
we have higher
jumping
rates of
to.
it. That's the reason why.
Maybe I'm just
We have
jumping to
higher rates of it.
conclusions.
You could be. It depends on what area you're in. If you were in New York, New York is how can I say like a melting pot city. You know what I mean? Where
Yeah,
people don't really care. You know what I mean? But if you're dealing with
yeah.
small communities, they do care. You know what I mean?
Mm.
You know, New York is different. I mean,
But like I felt almost at home, and like I just, yeah,
it depends on where you are. You know what I mean? Number one,
yeah.
you would do in America, I would think. You have to understand the American dollar system. you know,
I understand that. I understand that pretty well after coming over there. It's quite easy to understand. It's like our
okay,
money. It's like our money. It's pretty straightforward and stuff. So
yep.
yeah, it's not that different to what I'm used to.
hmm
In fact, if I went to the US, I'd probably get more money, technically speaking.
For now, yeah.
I'd
Well,
probably
we'll
get
talk
like
about
a pound more. I think I get. So
we'll talk about other things. Being on the spectrum, having the troubles that I had growing up, and I learned to defend myself. being on the spectrum, because I learned that these people would attack me, that I had to defend myself, and it made me tough. You know what I mean? Toughened me up quite a bit. You know what I mean? You know,
Yeah,
one of
yeah,
the positive things of growing up on the spectrum, you have to toughen up because people don't like you. You know what I mean?
yes, for sure.
The other kids, they don't like you. You know what I mean? So you
Yeah,
understand that you gotta basically make
be
them think
yourself.
twice. No, you gotta
But be
make them
yourself.
think twice. Be
You
myself is
can't.
good, but let me explain. You gotta make them think, no, I don't want to mess with that guy. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
that's the point.
But what I
You
find,
can't be.
what I found when I was growing up, just being myself is the best thing to be. If I start
I wasn't
pretending
that
a
myself.
certain,
I was that myself. I was being myself. And my advice for kids on the spectrum is this: don't let those people. They hate you. They don't. They don't. If they fear what they
yeah,
don't understand, they don't understand you. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And and life when you're on the spectrum is going to be full of misunderstandings because a lot of people just don't understand, and children can be cruel. You know what I mean?
for sure,
They
for sure.
don't understand. Just remember, you got to toughen up a little bit and show them what's what.
Yeah. And my advice would be just kind of not let people hold you back and just be yourself. There's no point in hiding that you've
Exactly.
got autism. You
But
may as well
also,
let
it's very. But also,
you may as well let
I would say, teaching a child on the spectrum self-defense is a very important thing. Learning how to throw
right.
hands is very
Not if
important.
not if you live in the UK. Not if you live in the UK. If you live in the
Well, I
UK,
would say,
if you live in the
uh,
UK, you're better off being yourself. That's the best. That's that's what's
well,
gonna make you survive. Just
well,
being
what
yourself.
also makes you survive is knowing how to defend yourself. I mean, with your hands, with your knuckles. I
Yeah,
took
but you got
martial
to.
arts lessons after high school. I mean, after high school, I took a lot of karate lessons because of that, and it's really helped me. It's achieved my confidence. I would say that the one thing you want to do with children on the spectrum is you want to teach them some martial arts. A good one is judo, jujitsu. You know what I mean? I think that children on the spectrum would go through jujitsu training pretty well. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Um,
But
so
you got to realize that we both live in different countries. Therefore, we can have different laws around all this stuff. Like self-defense in
it's
your
not
country
different.
may
I
be a
live
good
in a
idea.
state that's not that different from the UK. The point is that I don't before. The point is, it doesn't really matter what the law says. Always said this: it's better to be carried out by. It's better to be carried out by 12 than just. Sorry, it's better to be judged. It's better to be judged by 12 and then carried out by 6. You know what that means?
Kind of, yeah.
It means it's better not to be carried out in a coffin. Or it's better because you don't want someone. Okay, even in the UK, people know how to throw hands. You know what I mean? There's a lot of tough
Yeah.
UK people out there. Don't get me wrong. The point is here, I would say this: if you're a kid in the UK, and if you got a boy who's on the spectrum, or you're gonna have to teach him some things. Judo
For
would
sure.
be take judo lessons, boxing lessons, because he will get into a lot of fights. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You may
And
even
the
get
thing is,
bullied.
he's gonna get bullied. But I would tell if I give any advice to parents who you have a son on the spectrum, um, the one thing you need to do for your son is this: you need to get him in martial arts classes, in martial arts lessons.
Yep.
You know, because that's going to build his confidence, and that's going to keep people from attacking him. You know what I mean? He's not going to be easy
Yes.
prey if he can throw hands. You know what I mean? You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, I get where you're coming from. But then also you got to realize that your police force or cop force or whatever you call it in the US is going to be a lot more calmer than that. But the UK police force, they don't care whether you're defending yourself. They're more likely to put you in jail for
Mm.
beating up someone who's on the spectrum or something for discrimination. And it wouldn't be the person who's beating you up. The person who's going to get arrested is the person who's on the spectrum because they're weak. And no offense to people who are on the spectrum, but they're going to be weak inside and they're going to be thinking, I can't cope with this, and they're going to have a meltdown. And the UK
A lot
police
of
are
bad
not
things can happen. I'll
understanding.
tell you this. A lot of bad things can happen. I'll tell you that. But it's better to know how to defend yourself. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm gonna say. It's better to be judged by 12 than carried out by 6. And
Yes,
it's
for sure.
better to have a boy, let's say he's in school, able to throw an autistic boy or girl. I'm not discriminating between the two. That knows how to throw hands. You know what I mean? That knows how to basically defend himself or judo moves. You know what I mean? And they won't mess with him. You know what I mean? They
Yeah.
simply won't mess with them after that. They're not going to mess. I'm just talking about in school and stuff like that. So it's better to enroll your child into martial arts lessons. Learning how to use your hands is very important. That's why I suggested this to you. No, it
Do you
doesn't. I
think
think,
autism? One second, we got a question from Bill Frog. Do you
yeah,
think autism makes you worse or better fighter?
it depends. There are some things I don't have I have to work on my coordination. A lot of things I have to work extra hard to get things right. You know what I mean? I'll put it this way: one of the best martial arts to enroll an autistic child is judo, because judo takes
Right.
someone's energy. I'll tell you what, judo takes someone's energy and uses them. So if you want to get your son into a martial art that's going to work for him, that I should have took him is judo. Judo is a great martial art for a boy on the spectrum because it's easy for him to
Yeah.
do, and he can turn someone's own force against him. You know what I mean? Their
But
own momentum against them. You know what I mean?
but then my question is,
So a great
what if you're an adult? What if you're an adult on the spectrum? Like, would you recommend this to an adult or someone who's older, who's on the spectrum?
judo works for them too. It actually someone who knows judo can actually take on a stronger opponent and turn their own force against them. You know?
No, I mean autism.
No, I don't think it affects physical strength. But
No.
someone on the spectrum,
Well, depending, depending. If you haven't had like the right training, like you're not fit or anything, then obviously it would affect physical strength. But then if you're a fit individual and you're willing to make that, I guess it could be your strong point.
yeah. Like I said,
It's
judo
also
is made as a martial art that's made for people that are weaker. It's made for people that because it takes someone's own it takes the inner momentum that a stronger opponent would have and turns it against them. Basically, it's that kind of martial art. Like jujitsu. Brazilian jiu-jitsu is a very good martial art to get into, especially
but
if you
then
have a son that's on the spectrum.
but then what if you tried all these methods like you're saying jiu-jitsu or martial arts. What if you tried all of them and none of them are working for you? What would your next step be for that?
Well, I would say it would work. Basically, you let him come to you, and you basically do some grappling moves, and basically, the judo throws will be very effective against even meth heads. Much more effective against
But
meth heads because, well, they're kind of skinny.
but, but what I'm saying is, like, for
You know?
example, you've tried all the methods, right? You've tried everything and nothing's working for you, right? What would your next like move be? Like, what would you do next after you've tried everything and nothing's gone
Well,
to plan and it's not worked? Would you say
force
continue
multiplier.
trying your hardest or
A
different
force
methods?
multiplier. No, a force multiplier.
Right.
And that could be anything. That could be, I mean, the Irish has a martial art around using a shillelagh walking stick, a knob cane.
Yeah.
For example, even in the like the British martial arts tradition, the quarterstaff. You
Yeah.
know, that's how English travelers, used to defend themselves. There's a whole martial
Yeah.
art system around that you don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, bullfrog, you meant autism. Well, sometimes it does. I mean, yeah, some people like depression can be pretty. I've heard that people on the spectrum can have depression, but can have depression and stuff like that. That's the only thing that exacerbates with people on the spectrum is depression. That's not nearly as bad as more. How can I say more other things like schizophrenia? No, man.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But like I said, if you have a kid on the spectrum, you have a boy on the spectrum, you want him to be able to know, because he's going to have a lot of aggressors in school. Okay. If he has to go to school with regular kids, aggressors are going to be a problem. So the best thing I could suggest to them is basically get him into jiu-jitsu, okay, where he can learn how to basically use grappling techniques to do that,
Yeah. But would you say like being autistic can affect who you are? Or would you say that's just
I would say it
mental?
doesn't affect who you are. Just there are different people. I mean, there's different type of people. I mean, even on our level of the spectrum, we have different personalities, just like anyone else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Similarities, but there are differences.
SSW karate green belt.
For example, exactly. But if there's any martial art that I would suggest for a boy on the spectrum is jujitsu, judo. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Judo actually is basically a good system because it turns someone's physical strength. No, it doesn't affect physical strength. I mean, the mental health doesn't affect physical strength, Bulldog. No, putting children on drugs will do that, but no, it doesn't affect that.
But like, would you say like it can like almost take over your life if you let it take over your life? Or can you actually control it yourself?
It could be. I'll put it this way: being and I, we all do. You and I. I would just say that it doesn't affect your physical strength. I mean, when I was a kid, my physical strength was affected by the drugs I was forced to be put on, but that was not the same. If I was basically not on those drugs, I'd be a lot stronger even back then. But I'm still strong. But the point is that I gained back my strength. I started lifting weights. So I would say that being on the well, I'll put it this way: we're not very good at reading people very well. We're very good at how things work, understanding how things work, but when it comes to reading people, you know what I mean, we don't have that ability.
Yeah.
In a way, we can be so. We don't have the ability to read people and basically spot deception. You know what I mean,
But like,
it's a little longer.
But like, what if you saw someone who's autistic, who was like on the street, or something, would you like take advantage of them by being mean to them, or would you actually take time out of your own time to help them out and assist them if they're in need? Or would you just like leave them be who they are?
See, I try to make up. See, you have to make up for the fact you can't spot deception if you're on this and you're on the spectrum. I've made up for the fact that I have more physical strength. You know what I mean?
But like
And if
my que- this
someone
is
takes
my
advantage of me, right? I have
yeah,
people that will handle the situation. You know what I mean?
yeah, but
So,
this is my question, right? Just
mm,
hear me out now. Hear me out. This is my question, right? If you saw someone on the sidewalk or on the street or wherever, and you could see they're obviously autistic, right? They had no parents, they had no one, they're on their own, and somehow they needed support or help. Would you be willing to help them out, or would you just let them struggle?
I would help out a fellow person on the spectrum.
But how would you know they
You
are on the
know,
spectrum?
sometimes we can just tell. I mean, you just knew who I was. I mean, you could tell by
Yeah,
looking
that's
at
fair
me,
enough.
right? We know each other. We know another someone. We know, like, we can tell who we are, by our mannerisms. You know what I mean?
Yeah, fair
One of the
enough.
things
Yeah.
that one of the things that we do is that, for example, when we people on the spectrum, we have to constantly be moving or something because um, we don't like to stay still for too long. Um,
Yeah.
it don't feel good to us, so we pace. We pace. I mean, we
Yeah.
pace cats. I mean, you know.
But like, what's like, if you saw that person, right? Let's focus on this. Let's focus on this scenario, right? If you saw that person in the street, what would you look at? What would you look at that person for? Like, how would you like almost let's say figure out who they are?
Well, to know if someone's on the spectrum, it depends on what level of the spectrum they are. The level. Now we know that we're mildly on the spectrum. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there are people that are more extreme when it comes to the autism, and we've seen those people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You try to be as
Yeah.
charitable as you can with, if it's one of your own. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I get where you're coming from, though. Yeah.
Way someone, the way someone reacts will let you know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So one of the things,
Yeah.
tell them I think Bullfrog wants to know one of the common ways to tell if some. Well, if someone cannot remain still for too long, um, that they don't like standing still for too long. You know what I mean? And if we're waiting
Yeah.
for long periods of time, we like to pace, like a cat. You know how when a cat is waiting, a cat will just walk around in circles. You know what I mean?
But like for example, like if you saw someone like who was in the street or something, how would you tell that they are autistic, or how would you tell them what type of autism they are? Like how would you notice that from your opinions?
I wouldn't notice. I would say I would basically there are some certain ways you can tell. If they're loud, like yelling the side of their mouth, yeah, they got extreme autism. Even I find that uncomfortable sometimes, but I would try to help the person. I mean,
Yeah.
yes, you are, Bullfrog, but this isn't my channel.
This is my channel. Then that was the confusion is. But yeah, I think if I
So
check
there are
my
ways to
mod.
tell. For example, you knew when you saw my stream that I was one of your own. I mean,
Yeah, I immediately thought you were from me.
You could tell by the mannerisms.
Yes, I can tell by everything, by the way you
Yeah,
speak and the way you are, and just it's almost like an invisible connection
yeah.
type thing.
You just know.
Yeah, we just kind of know. We link up like Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
That's the best.
Bullfrog, Bullfrog just noticed that this wasn't my channel.
Yeah, I did see that. You are on the Spectrum Extra channel, not on SSW. You're speaking
I
with
decided
husband.
to for Christmas. I took a break for Christmas, spent time with family. You know what I mean?
But yeah, I think like autism is one of those things which you either live with it or and you understand it for yourself, or you don't live with it and
And
you know
you
nothing
basically
about it.
jump off the nearest bridge. You know what I mean? Pretty
Yeah,
much.
pretty much. Yeah, you either
Yeah.
know what it is or not.
Yeah.
I am the owner of this channel. Yep, that's right, Bill Frog. Not SSW. Oh dear, dear, dear. uh,
But I'll
right
tell you
then.
what, as moderators go, Bullfrog is a great moderator.
I don't know him much. He hasn't come to much of my live streams, so I'm not too sure yet.
I can vouch for him though. No,
Yeah, but
he gets
I
rid of the
got to
trolls, and you
people.
will be. Oh,
I
yeah?
got to see. I got to see how they are with chats and stuff.
Oh, I
The way
know.
I
I do the same thing.
the way I see monetize like people who would like monetize my channel. I look out for people, how good people are, like monetizing the chat and everything, like how good they are in like keeping rid of all the bullies and stuff and defending me, looking out for me, being there for me, almost like a friend. That's how I work my
Yeah.
monitors, and
Well,
it's up.
Bullfrog has always been a good friend from the beginning. He's basically he's actually lived in the UK. I think that
Has he?
now he's moved to Spain because he didn't like the UK very much. You know,
Yeah.
you know. I don't blame him. You know,
No, no, no. I don't blame him either.
you know where if I was suggesting where you should move, Edward, maybe to a small town in France. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I know on my channel there's no trolls really. There's only trolls at midnight.
Give
Well,
it
midnight for
time.
me.
Give it time,
Actually,
Edward. Just
oh no,
just give
it's
it
got
time. When your channel grows, you're gonna get trolls. Just give it time.
well,
I mean,
it's actually midnight for me now, so the
yeah.
trolls could be coming out any second.
Oh yeah.
We just got to wait for them. Anyway, right, let's focus on what we're talking about.
Okay.
What were we talking about? I forgot already.
We were talking about the challenges of being on the spectrum. Children who
All
grow
right,
up on
yeah,
the spectrum, it's very challenging for us. I mean,
yeah,
and I always say this. I mean, hypothetically, let's say Nancy is a mother of a boy who's on the spectrum. I would say you want to make sure that your son knows how to defend himself above all
yeah,
else.
yeah,
You
for
know,
sure.
if
I
I would
think
say
defense.
anything,
I think defending yourself, depending on what country you're in, like the US, for sure, yeah, because like that's full of
we're talking
nuts.
about schoolyard bully stuff. Being in the school system,
Yeah,
you wouldn't do any time, even in the UK. So I wouldn't worry about that. No, man. But what I will say is this: learning how to basically, I think judo is a very great martial arts for boys on the spectrum to learn. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. No,
Because
I understand. suffering from.
You know,
But do you think like there's some sort of education purpose? Like if you're growing up whilst being an autistic individual, do you think you should seek professional care, or how do you think like
a lot
what
of
do you
things you
think?
can do. I just think that you need to have a good footing, people that care about you. Number one,
So
you
like
need to basically, you
what
basically
I'm trying to
have to basically tell your autistic son that you're not going to be like the other kids. Basically, work twice as hard to get what you want in life, and you're going
yeah.
to have to know that you're going to face challenges that other kids won't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what you got to tell them. You know what I mean? And basically, and you also got to tell them that you got to know how to defend yourself against, because there's going to be a lot of kids gunning for you in the school. You know what I mean? You're going to have to basically. I would say if I'm growing up, let's say I have an autistic son, I'm going to enroll him in judo classes. I'm going to enroll him in judo classes and basically martial arts. I'll tell you why. Because I'm going to make sure that once he goes to school, and I wouldn't put him in a public school in America. Well, I'll tell you why, for various reasons. But once he's out playing with the other kids, I'm going to make sure that there won't be any. He'll be able to handle his own. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's not going to be a problem. You know what I mean?
But like for example, right, how would you explain to my viewers who don't understand autism whatsoever, like how would you explain to them how autism is, and how would you explain to them what it's
We just
about?
don't see the world the same way as you do.
But like what is it
Um,
about? Pretend I know nothing about autism. I'm just a normal person talking to you. How would you explain autism to me?
well, I would say autism isn't mental illness. It's basically a different way of seeing the world. Our reactions are different compared to regular people.
Yeah.
The way we talk is differently sometimes. You know, sometimes we can be we don't pick up on social cues as well as you do, so we can't spot deception as well. I mean, um,
Yeah.
although we're very socially although we can be socially inept, we're not retarded. We're
That's
very
right.
intelligent in other ways. We can be someone on the spectrum can be very well read. Someone on the spectrum
Yeah.
can have knowledge in fields, engineering, mathematics, everything you can think of, literature. We can be very intelligent in other ways. We're not retarded. Just because we act different doesn't mean we're retarded. Retarded people are a different thing entirely.
Yes, for sure.
We're just socially inept. We don't have social intelligence. We can't pick up on social cues.
Now, comes my second question leading from this. How would you tell my viewers how to deal with somebody who's on the spectrum? And Bullfrog, yes, I am autistic.
Well, if you're dealing with someone like us, right? You just gotta say, you just gotta say, oh no, sometimes we can talk over each other by accident, and you just let them know that, oh, you're cutting me off, and like, okay, and then someone like our level of spectrum, okay, sorry about that, and then we'll shut up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're much more verbally acute, I will say. We're not going to be picking up the social. You got to tell us. You know what I mean? You got to say it to it. You got to be more direct with us.
Yeah. And like, how would you deal with like? No, I don't know. I forgot my question already. Hang on. That's true, Bullfrog. Yep.
Oh, I totally agree with that, Bullfrog. Here's the thing: I'm
Me
not
too.
mentally ill because I don't hear voices. I'm not trying to hurt people. You know what I mean? Now, most people on the spectrum will be peaceable towards others. It's only until you're not peaceable towards us that we can cause some problems. You know what I mean? Just like any other human being, you push us, we push back. But the thing is, we don't look for conflict most of the time. People on the spectrum, most of the time, we're pretty peaceable. I mean, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to ask the viewers if they want to join the stream, and hopefully we get
Okay.
some people to come on up on here, and hopefully we can discuss this in more detail, and hopefully we can get insights on what other people think. So what I've just done now, put the link in the chat. So if anyone fancies coming up on, just copy and paste that into the web browser or whatever, and hopefully we can get some more people up here and see how this stream goes and turns out.
So true. That's so true.
Because I think instead of it just being us two, we need to have a whole panel up here and discuss this in a bit of a more understanding of what it is. Bullfrog, you don't have to show your face online. You just have to do what I'm doing. As long as you don't mind your voice being online, that's all. That's what matters. Because like what I'm doing here is I'm just, my voice is online, so.
Yeah.
So yeah.
How many viewers do we got?
We've got 3 viewers so far. So, and that's going up and down. So between 3 and 4, I think we can. So I'm hoping that some people may choose to come up on, and yeah, hopefully we get something going.
Hopefully.
But like Bullfrog said, he said I don't fancy being online and stuff, so that's okay, Bullfrog. I wasn't aiming at you anyway. I was just asking people if they wanted to come up. But yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, let's talk about another subject that's going on. Talk about current events. I mean, what do you think about the election of Trump?
I think it's a good. It's growing on me. That's growing on me. That's growing on me for sure.
Here's the thing. Most people on the spectrum are pretty. We don't. For me, I'm on the spectrum, but at the same time, I'm not into crazy stuff. You know what I mean? Most people on the spectrum are pretty. I'm gonna say, we're pretty grounded people, aren't we, Edward? We're not into let's say weird stuff. Let's say we're not delusional where we think we're women and we're born men. We're not. We don't basically we don't hear voices. You know what I mean? We don't.
Yeah.
We're not into that. I mean, we're not into crazy stuff. Most of the time, people on the spectrum are the most grounded people you ever meet. You know what I mean? Simple people who like simple things. You know what I mean? Someone on the spectrum can take great pleasure in simple things.
So I'm here.
Dave is here. Is that Dave?
I'm here because I want to talk about problems with people on the spectrum, Justin. And I know what the problems are because I've been dealing with you for a long time.
Okay.
All right. So people on the spectrum, I'm going to be honest with you, a lot of them are very lazy. They get caught up in their minds and they have hobbies and they do them, right? And they forget about the things that are kind of important in their life, right, Justin?
That is very
yeah.
We can do that a lot of times, and it's one of our weaknesses, and it's very sad. Yes, so I understand where you're coming from.
But Justin,
Yes.
sorry, but Justin, it doesn't have to be like that. It
You're
doesn't have
right.
to be,
It
I don't
doesn't.
know. I don't know about Edward. Okay, Edward, I'm sure you deal with the same issues that Justin does, right?
Yes, but
Right.
like, no offense to Justin, but sometimes I feel like he overreacts on things.
Yeah, no, he does. He gets panic mode. But again, it's a spectrum, right? So everyone's a little different, but you can understand it. I the only
Yeah,
reason
yeah,
why
I
I can
understand.
understand it, Justin, is because I have again third grade to graduation of high school. I was in special education with everyone, right? And one of my good friends is on the spectrum. I know how it works. You, Justin, your biggest problem, all right, is you get focused on something, you have no task. And as a man, you have to have a task. And if you
Right.
divert from that task, Justin, and you don't do it, when I say to you, Justin, I need you to do this for me, I need you to do that, you say you'll do it, and then you don't do it, that means you're not a man of your word. You understand that?
Try
Yeah,
not to be. I understand that. And the thing is that I'm not perfect. And the thing is, and I get that. And I want to stay on task. I'm trying to improve myself every day.
All
And
right,
you're
so
right.
so
I
then
have that problem.
let's ask a question. All right, so Edward, what do you plan on doing in the next 2 years? Do you have any plans, or maybe the next year?
well, get a better job because the wage that I'm on is utter rubbish. Um, and also just improve on who I am myself, and hopefully get a better YouTube YouTube thing going and stuff like that.
Okay, so you're going to work on that every day, correct? Like that's going to be your one of your main focuses in life, correct?
Yeah, just gonna keep going, and that's why, like, I noticed recently my live streams have gone a lot better because I'm doing them more frequently, and that's
Mhm.
what I'm working on. I'm working on making my live streams better and do them pretty much every day and keep going and keep going and keep going. And that's why, like today we've got 3 viewers in, which previously I've had no viewers in. So it's going well. That's improvement from what I've had before.
Yeah. So have you seen what Justin's been doing?
Not really. I haven't been paying much attention, but
Yeah. So this is another thing about people on the spectrum. Um, Michelle doesn't come to my show. Justin doesn't come to my show, but
yeah,
people support Justin and people support Michelle. And Edward, I would love for people to support you. I'm sure they do. I'm sure you have a great show, and it'll be even better next year.
yeah,
But you
hopefully,
guys have to understand that when you make friends with people, people want to come to you. Like if you're nice to someone, people want to be around you. If
yeah,
that makes
yeah, I
any
understand
sense,
that.
it might not make sense to you guys, but that's
Thing
what
if
happens.
I have, look, Dave, there's been a lot of misunderstandings, and I'm used to that in my life. And you're right. That's the part of my bane of my existence is being on the spectrum, is fading out. You know what I mean? I get that.
So Justin wants to get monetized, and he wants to make money on YouTube. Is that correct, Justin?
I do, but I'm a little hesitant because I looked at the requirements, and one of the requirements is adding my bank account to that, and I'm not sure if that's a good idea, or if I have to set up a completely new bank account in a different branch. You know what I mean? For reasons that personal reasons. You know what I mean?
Don't
Um,
stress about it. Just use your normal bank account. I'm sure that YouTube don't have access to it properly.
no,
It's just
I
giving you
couldn't
money.
do
So
that. I couldn't use my normal bank account. I have to set up a completely different
So
one.
the problem is now, and I'm telling you guys this, and I'm not sure what Edward does, but Justin, this is something that you're going to have to either figure out or ask for help with. All right. And when
yeah,
you ask for help, Justin, okay, that doesn't mean, hey, Dave, can you do this for me? Hey, Sherry, can you do this for me?
you got to do it yourself.
You got to do it
There's
myself.
got,
I agree.
yeah. So, Justin, do you remember when I said to you, I wanted you to write down the hours that you go to sleep at and what time you wake up.
Yeah.
You never did that. Remember that? Remember we were supposed to
Oh,
log into your phone for work? We never did that. And I gave you, dude, I
No.
gave you every opportunity.
I
And
forgot.
now look what happens, Justin.
Yeah.
And then
I
now
think
now you want money and you can't get it because now you don't want to open up a bank account to get monetized on YouTube.
no offense,
Well, I
Justin,
had to
but I
open
think
up a separate bank account, and that's I
no
think I can do
offense, but
that.
I think you need to listen to Dave a bit more, and you need to
Yeah.
trust him a bit more. He's a good friend of yours, and you just got to like. I haven't really met him that long, and I already trust him enough to be up on this live stream and to have this
Yeah.
conversation. But personally speaking, from my experience and from me looking at your channel, I don't know you guys properly, but I'm guessing you don't have much trust in Dave and all that. You need to put more trust
Oh,
into
I do
Dave
have
and
trust in him.
trust him a lot more. And
Yeah.
listen to him. Don't ignore him things like you were saying about writing all that stuff down. You should have written it all down and started like listening instead of ignoring people who are trying to help you.
You're right.
So I mean, here's the thing, Justin. I don't want to like ruin your days off from work or anything like that. I never wanted to do that. It was when I asked you for that like information about like your sleep schedule, because I noticed that there were things that weren't getting done in your life. And
Uh,
even Moose tried to talk to you about, you know, your time and how you manage it.
Here's the thing
And,
about
you know,
that. Okay, there are periods in my life where I go into depression sleep. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. It's that's how I cope. You know what I mean?
I know,
And
but Justin, you have to know these things. Like when you didn't want to go to work, right? Because you didn't like the job, you should have emphasized that. And Justin, you know, Sherry and I do want you to be able to work as much as you want, all right?
Yeah.
And be happy at work. You were not happy at that job. I know you weren't.
no, I was not. I know.
Yeah. And
I'm glad
there
we
was
got
ways to
this
go
out of.
about that though, Justin.
I get
And you
that.
might not know it because you're on the spectrum. But guys, I'm gonna tell you something. When you don't like something, open up your mouth. Say it. You know, if someone is making you feel uncomfortable, you know, say it or politely leave. But you do not just not show up. Because Justin, you do that, you burn your bridges with people. You could have went to your manager and said, "Hey, you know what? I do not. I'm having a hard time. I can't do this anymore. I'm sorry. I'll give you 2 weeks, whatever you want. Like I would love maybe at one point maybe to come back, but it's just so much stuff's going on right now. I can't work.
There was a misunderstanding,
Don't let
but I don't want to
autism.
get into that, Dave. Some
But
things I don't want
Just
to.
let me let,
Well, don't put that on the
let me
screen,
say
Dave,
something,
please.
guys.
all right, but Justin,
Don't
these
let
are
autism.
guys.
Don't
These are skills you need to know.
Yeah, but don't
You
let
need to know these
autism
Yeah.
skills.
take
You got to
over
have
your
them
life.
because that's going to help you in life. I'm telling you.
What I'm
These
saying is,
stupid little
don't let
things.
autism take.
I'm into
Don't
that.
blame everything on autism. It's not all about autism. It's all about just listening to each other.
No, it's not.
Like, yes, it is because Dave is trying to help you, and I don't know your situation. I don't know what's happening between you guys, but all I can hear right this second is Dave is trying to tell you information, and you're just completely blanking it. From my opinion, I don't want to fall out with you, but that's what it seems like on my end of the situation.
Well, I'm not blanking. I'm listening to him. I hear what he has to say, and I understand what he's got to say, Dave.
Like,
At the same
I don't want to
time,
fall out with you or anything, but it just
no,
seems like
no, there's no fallout. Here's the thing, Dave. Okay, I agree with what you're saying. These are my character flaws.
But they're Justin. Everyone's got character flaws, guys. Right? Like everyone on planet just Earth's. Just so you know that. I do. Sherry does. The people that are good to you, Justin. We're all flawed, right? But Justin,
All right.
there's certain things that you should do in life, just so life doesn't become more difficult. You know,
You're
you don't
right.
have to do them, but if you're telling me that you're struggling with depression and all this other crap, Justin, you don't want your life being any more difficult, Justin. You know what I mean?
I'm actually less depressed than I was before. A lot less depressed.
You need to
A little bit
start
more
getting your
hopeful,
life back together. You need to start getting your life back together.
and that's what I'm going to try to do.
But
And
like, you got to listen to people like Dave who are trying to assist you with this,
yeah,
and instead of ignore them.
I get it.
And like from what I'm seeing from this situation here, it just seems like I said, you're not really listening. But like I don't know what to say in this situation.
Well, I have been listening, and I get it. I've been fumbling the ball.
But like, what's your situation around this? What do you think about this situation? What's your opinion on it? As
Me,
Justin? Yes.
I agree with it. I agree with it.
What about you, Dave?
I
What about you,
guess
Dave? What do
I
you think about it?
Justin.
What do you think
what do
about
you
the
have to
situation?
Edward, I wanna make sure that this is okay with Justin. And the only reason I'm talking about it on this channel is because he talks very highly of you. And I think
Right.
this is an opportunity to like get Justin to understand that, Justin, we have to have tasks. You have to have things to wake up to in the morning. If it's walking a dog or getting out to run or jog, you have to have a specific time that you get up. And Justin, I'll tell you what the loser hours are, okay? A loser hour to get up in the morning is 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to tell you why. All right. Because every loser on planet Earth starts waking up at that time. All right. I know you have trouble sleeping. Okay. But maybe if you get on a sleep schedule, a good sleep schedule, you won't have that problem. And Justin, I'm going to be honest with you. I think that a lot of your time is spent eating, masturbating,
I'm
and
on a
sleeping.
diet now. I'm on a diet now, Dave. You're right about that.
I know I'm
And I've
right
been
about
trying
it,
to.
Justin. I know.
I've been
I
trying.
get it. Like that's what I would be doing if I didn't have tasks. I would be doing the same exact thing, man. So you guys
Do you
aren't alone. If you guys think that you're special because you have like autism or
No, I'm not
Asperger's or
special.
whatever it is, right? You're not. It's just that sometimes people get certain jokes or think certain things are funny. Sometimes people don't. Some people like spaghetti. Some people like steak. You know what I mean?
I'm
do
not
you
saying
agree
we're
with what
special.
Dave is saying? Though? Do you agree with what Dave is
I
saying
I
to you?
agree with what he's saying.
Do you understand
Um,
what he's saying?
I do understand, and it does sadden me that I act like this sometimes. But I do want to be on the ball a lot of times. But there are some things that my forget nature. I mean,
Yeah, he has a
also
problem with
comes into
forgetting a
play.
lot of stuff. Like he becomes very forgetful. And I'm gonna be honest with you, Justin. I think it's because you get lost in these things that you don't pay attention to time. I know you don't. I know you don't pay attention to emails or anything like that. You don't have like a schedule to like look at anything or. I mean, what time is it now, Justin?
8:02.
All right. So what are you
Well,
gonna be
not
doing in
from.
an hour, Justin?
Well, I decide to go for a nighttime stroll.
Okay. Are you going to do it? Like if I call you in an hour, right? And say, hey, Justin, when are you going for that nighttime stroll? You're going to say, no, I'm staying in.
Actually, after this stream, not in an hour.
And are you going to live stream that? Are you going to live stream that walk so you can prove that
Sure.
you've done it?
Sure, I can. I'll make it a New Year's stream, like the beginning.
And Justin, the reason why I'm making a big deal about this, right, is because the man of his word. When
You're
you
right.
tell people
I haven't been a man of my
things
word
and you don't
lately.
do it, you're not a man of your word.
You're right about that.
It's like, it's not just about the situation, but like when I was on about my the intro that I did for you. To start off with, you were like, no, I'm not going to put your name into it. Then I had to remind you to say, hang on a minute, I made that intro for you. Don't be so ungrateful and put my name into it, type thing.
And I forgot, and I'll admit I forgot. But then I came back and I changed it and edited it and put it in there. Okay.
Yeah, but I
I
shouldn't be the one to remind you. You should just remember that I did that to you, type thing.
Here is saying my father had this problem. His memory wasn't always that good.
Yeah, but Justin, that doesn't mean that you're like that. All right. And Justin, that's why we have, if you have a problem with that, then you got to start writing stuff down. You have to have a book, a schedule. And I want you to remember to look at it all the time to see if you're forgetting something. That's it. I do that in my head every day.
Okay.
If I have to help with it, I will. I'll message you every day if I have to say, have you checked your diary? Have you checked your diary? And I keep bugging you for it. And you have to, if it comes to it, send me photos of it. Send me photos of what you've written down, and then send that pictures to Dave as well.
Okay. I can do that. Well, yeah. I understand that, Edward. That was a very intense situation. And it did point out some of my own flaws. And I agree with this. I'm not in disagreement. I'm trying to do better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I didn't mean to upset you or Dave. You know what I mean?
I understand that.
Most of the time, yes, there are times in my life where I go into something called a depression sleep. You know what I mean? Where it's one of those days. It's not, I don't want to let it hold me back, but it's one of those days where you don't want to be awake. You don't. You know what I mean? And, because you start to hate your own life. You start to basically, wish something else. And I get that.
No, I understand that, but it gets to a certain degree where you're letting people down. And
I don't want to let people down. I don't.
Yeah,
here's the thing, but I did correct course. Did I not, Edward? I corrected course when you told me. And it goes back to one of the things, again, you have to. Know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. I get where you're coming from.
I corrected course, did I not?
Like Dave was saying, you need to start writing things down, and you've got to start almost writing things down and putting things into diary and saying, right, today I'm going to do this. Next day, I'm going to be doing this. And you need that sort of routine. Otherwise, you're just going to not progress, and you're not going to almost be successful. Like, for example, you want to be monetized. If you continue the way you are, you're not going to get monetized, and you're not going to.
Well, I can be monetized, and I'm gonna have to set up a separate bank account. To do that.
Go to the bank. Go to the bank and go to Chase Bank or whatever you bank with, Bank of America or whatever. Go to those banks and say, right, can I have a new bank account for the XXX? And actually go ahead and do it. If you need help in doing that, ask me or Dave, and I'm sure we both want to assist you with it. If I have to, I'll go and chat with you. I'll go and
Well, I can do it. Thank you. I will ask for help, and I hope I didn't upset you, Edward.
No, no, no. It's just it brung to my what do you call it? Just talking about it. Just brought to my attention that I had to tell you somehow about it. So
It's
I'm
a
kind of glad
forgetful
Dave came
nature,
along.
and yeah, and sometimes I am very forgetful, and because I get that bullfrog. No man, how come your chat's going cold?
I know it's gone ice cold. It's like a brick at the minute. Nobody wants to talk.
Yeah,
um,
but
yeah,
the point is here is that I'm trying to do better.
yeah. I think we're gonna end the live stream now. Thanks very much for joining the live stream, and I'll see you next time. Bye.